All right, so we lost a little bit at the end of this on the last video, so let's go back over it. So beginning or ending an action, I don't know what's going on with the spelling there. One-time action in the past, so ayer compré una camisa nueva, right? Like yesterday I bought a new shirt. Specific time action in the past. And so on this one, I might be talking about, let's say, like I used to go skating a lot, but one day I fell down. Okay, well, one day is a specific time that happened in the past, but even better specific time would be something like on October 3rd, 1953, I ran my first race. Well, that race happened one time, so it comes back to the did it happen one time or more than one time, but it's a specific time action in the past. Sudden or distinct action, again, that comes down to those awesome words like suddenly and then, all of a sudden and all that stuff. So sudden distinct action. And then an interrupting action, interrupting an action already going on. So back to this one over here, ongoing action. Estaba caminando en el bosque cuando me caí. I was walking, so it's an ongoing action, in the forest or through the forest, cuando me caí, when an interrupting action, which was that I fell, happened. So those are your acronyms if you'd like to use them, water loads or bossy. So far we've talked about the different keywords that help us understand if it was imperfect or preterite. We've also talked about the two acronyms that help us remember which one to use and when. And I really think this is the most important thing over here. It's kind of like if you can remember this, then this is the leftover, right? If you're in a bind and you can't remember all this or your mind is blanking, the next best thing to do is say, did it happen one time or did it happen more than one time? So, if I used to go to the park a lot when I was a kid, the word a lot indicates that it happened more than one time. But one day I saw a scary man there and I never went back. Okay, well now it's one time. Make sense? One that always tricked my students last year, I used to go visit my grandparents' house. They had a yellow house on Maple Street. Okay, so they had a yellow house. Was their house yellow just that one day that I went there, or was it yellow all the time? Well, it was yellow all the time. So me describing that the house was yellow would be imperfect. Now again, that is a description. So me describing their house is why it's the imperfect. But if you're in a pinch, did it happen one time or more than one time? All right, so let's do some practice. All right, so we're going to write whether the underlined verb in each of the following sentences is preterite or imperfect. And you need to pay attention to the hints that are in the sentence. So every day, right? All right, so if I'm saying every day, every day is my hint there, so that would be imperfect, right? All right, Juan ran most mornings. Again, most mornings indicates that it happened more than one time, so that would also be the imperfect. The house was white. Well, I just talked about my grandparents' house being white. That's a description, so it's imperfect. The girls spoke to the professor yesterday. Now, the professor and the girl spoke yesterday, right? They spoke that one time, and we can assume that it's over with, so that would be the preterite, okay? Please make a normal P for me. There we go. All right. I studied with Juan for 3 hours. Now, the 3 hours is the part that gets confusing for me. It sounds like it should be the imperfect because we studied for 3 hours. But the 3 hours indicates that the thing that we did, which was studying, ended. That means it started and it stopped. So I studied for 3 hours is the preterite. She used to call me every night. Basically, if you can hear used to, it's always imperfect. But again, every night indicates it happened more than one time, so that would be the imperfect. And then we used to dance the tango every night. Again, used to is the imperfect. All right, and then moving up, where is it? There we go. They found out the news yesterday. When did this happen? It happened yesterday, and we can assume that it is now the preterite because it happened yesterday. I can say I was talking to my friend yesterday. Just because I use the word yesterday doesn't mean that it's going to be the preterite, but a lot of times it does. Moving on. Choose the correct tense of the verb based on the clues given. So, a veces Rodrigo trabajó or trabajaba en el jardín con su papá. Well, let me adjust the screen real quick. All right. And I do want you to try to do this on your own before you get my answers. Maybe you can hit pause, or I'll take a little bit of a break here just to give you time to think about it yourself. So, a veces, Rodrigo, what? Now, a veces is your key word here. And so, since a veces means sometimes, that means that we are talking in the imperfect, because it's something that happened more than once. Sometimes indicates more than once. Raúl, something alto y rubio. What am I doing here? What does that mean? That means tall, and that means blonde-headed, which means I'm describing him. So it would be era. ¿Por qué tú siempre blank las manos después de comer? Again, here's my key word, siempre. And because it's siempre, it's going to be te lavabas. Yo something la fiesta anoche. What did I do for the party last night? I organized it. Okay. Generalmente yo blank mis libros en mi cuarto. Generalmente means what? Generally. So if I'm talking about generally, that's something that happens more than one time. If I'm saying generally, that means it happens often, it's a kind of a habit or a pattern. So that means it happened more than once. So ponía. Una vez mi hermano blank el gato en la piscina. That's a spelling error there. That should be piscina. But anyway, una vez, one time. That's literally what that means. So one time my brother put the cat in the pool. All right. ¿Con quién something tú al parque ayer? So what's our keyword there? Ayer. And if I'm using ayer as my keyword, then ayer means what? It means yesterday. And yesterday indicates that it probably happened one time. So, ¿con quién fuiste tú al parque ayer? Next up. Yo corría en el parque cuando blank $40. This is an interrupting action. So I was running in the park when, and the interrupting action, a lot of times you'll see this, when. So I was running in the park when I found $40. So encontré. El año pasado las niñas blank una fiesta de sorpresa. So when did this happen? This happened last year. Last year may sound like a lot of things could happen in 1 year, but it's a completed past event. It happened last year. It's over with. They organizaron. ¿Quién es blank el accidente? So who something the accident? Now this one's kind of tricky, right? It doesn't really have a key word there, but think about it. Who something the accident? And we want to say saw, right? So who saw the accident? How often does the accident happen? I mean, let's just imagine that you get in a car wreck and you want to know who saw it. You can have your witnesses. Do you want to know who was seeing the accident or who saw the accident? You want to know who saw the accident. So, ¿quiénes vieron el accidente? And then blank las 8 de la mañana cuando me levanté. So, it was 8 o'clock in the morning when I woke up. Not because of the word cuando, although it works here too. It's because we're talking about what? Time. 8 a.m., that's time. Automatically, it's imperfect. All right, let's move on. All right, so now let's go through these and decide whether we're going to be talking about the preterite or the imperfect. So I've got my purple highlighter now. All right, actually, let's do the writing utensil. Okay. So, am I talking about ayer is a word for the preterite, right? Because it kind of indicates that it happened once and it's over. Anoche, preterite. Todos los días. What do you think? Imperfect, because it's all the days. Siempre. Imperfect, because it means always. El viernes pasado. Last Friday would be preterite. El año pasado. You see pasado, you see preterite. All right? Los viernes means Friday. On Fridays, so that indicates more than once. So that should be the imperfect. Nunca. That's a scary one. Nunca means never. But it's kind of like the absence of siempre, so it follows the same rule. So never, and it's kind of like not once. So it indicates that you had all these chances happening and that none of it at times did it work. So all of those times that indicated that never got done become an imperfect. El otro día, the other day, that's preterite. Mientras, it depends on what side of mientras you are, but if you're the action in progress, then it's imperfect. A menudo means often, so that's imperfect. It happened more than once. A veces, sometimes, more than once. Usualmente, usually, more than once. It means usually. I'm not saying usually more than once. Hace 3 horas que, that means 3 hours ago. 3 hours ago. Again, that's kind of giving me a specific time, so that one's going to be preterite. Cuando era niño, first of all, your sentence already has imperfect in it, so that's helpful. But when I was a child, I'm already talking about a time in general, so it's a lot less specific than the preterite. Un día, one day, that means it happens one time. Alguna vez, that's the only time you're going to see that. When you see one time, it's going to be the preterite. Frecuentemente, again, that's frequently, so that's going to be the imperfect. Cada día, that's every day, that's imperfect. Finalmente, finally, and what would that be? Preterite, because it's finally. So whatever happened after finally, it's over with. Does that make sense? So finally, he got the girl to go on a date with him. Well, he didn't have to keep trying after that, so it's a final action. Esta mañana is this morning. So that indicates something that happened and is now over with. So that would be the preterite. El fin de semana pasado means last weekend. So again, that's the preterite. Cada día means every day. So that's the imperfect. And the last one, en ese momento, that means in that moment. And in that moment would indicate that I'm trying to say that it happened in that one moment and it's over with. Oops. So that would be the preterite. Now we are going to do this one in class. I'll do numbers 1 and 11 with you just to get you started, but y'all go ahead and do this or be ready to do this in class. So, el blank por teléfono ayer por la tarde. So, he's something on the phone yesterday in the afternoon. He habló por teléfono. It's over with. Happened yesterday. And then ustedes blank a José cada semana. If you saw him every week, then you veían. Make sense? All right. That's it. Happy studying.